Hey BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching my channel, Books I'm Not Reading. It's Double Tag Tuesday. I know, 2 videos from me in one day. I'm here to do, this time, the Atwood Adventure Tag, which was created by Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl, and I was tagged by Shelley Swearingen, excuse me, Shelley, Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girl spent the last year trying to read as much Margaret Atwood as she could, and as a result of that, created this tag, which I love. I think it's a great tag, and I also just have to make a plug for my absolute favorite Margaret Atwood book, The Blind Assassin. I love this book so much. I need to reread it though. It's been a really long time. Okay. So I'm also going to tag some people right here at the beginning. I'd like to tag Jen from Remembered Reads, Alice and the Giant Bookshelf, Marilyn Maya Mendoza, Jim's Books Reading and Stuff, and Bookmarks and Bookshelves. So thank you guys. All right, so the book tags and prompts. Question 1. Before publishing her first collection of poetry in the early 60s, Margaret Atwood had several other jobs, including working at summer camps. What was your first job? So my first job was for my college newspaper. I think the first story I ever wrote was about Hispanic Awareness Week. That was kind of a theme for me for a while when I started out writing for the newspaper. I wrote about, Black History Month and just different months highlighting different groups of people. So I don't know how I got stuck with that, but that was the beginning. That was my very, very first job. Question 2. While growing up, Margaret Atwood's family spent several months each year living in the bush in northern Ontario. What is a survival skill that you have that would help you survive living off the grid? So one of my dear friends, I tease her a lot about living off the grid. She doesn't really live off the grid, but she's the person that I know that closest comes to living off the grid. And just from my conversations with her, I would not do well. I am an indoor person. I love the outdoors. I love nature, don't get me wrong. But I am not meant to live off the grid. So I would bring very, very little to that situation. Panic, maybe. So, question 3. Margaret Atwood grew up reading comic books. Do you have a favorite comic book or comic book character? Shelley in her video mentioned Calvin and Hobbes, which was definitely part of my growing up, and also Mutts, which is another cartoon about a cat and a dog that I loved. So yeah. Let's see. Question number 4. Margaret Atwood is not only a poet and author, she has also illustrated books and shown her creativity in so many other ways. What are some ways that you are creative? And you guys are looking at it right now. My creative energy is spent on this channel, which I know it's really rough and really raw around the edges, but yeah, this is kind of my creative outlet. So I do have, I can go to a card decorating party back when we had those sorts of things. But I'm really good. Actually, what I'm really good at is surrounding myself by incredibly creative people. My husband, my parents, my siblings. So yeah, they're all so creative and talented, and I'm just like a magnet for all of that. I love it. Question 5. Some of Margaret Atwood's writing is inspired by myths, folktales, and fairy tales. What is your favorite myth, folktale, or fairy tale, and why? So I don't have a specific one in mind, but I just wanted to show you kind of, again, my growing up, what I grew up on. So one year for Christmas, I got this game. Sorry, you guys. Okay, here we go. By Jove. a classical adventure package. Players 10 and over, so I must have been at least 10. And I wanted to show you guys the board itself. It's so cool. So there's all these different characters on the side. Hector, Venus, there's Circe, Aeneas is on here, Ulysses. But in the middle, here's like Jason and the Argonauts. And then up here is the Minotaur. So they were like, oh, Kelly needs to learn about mythology. Let's buy her a game. So anyway, I don't have like a specific one, but that's kind of, I probably spent more time with that sort of stuff than I did with fairy tales growing up. Question 6. Margaret Atwood's most well-known novel is The Handmaid's Tale. What is a task or chore you wish you had a maid or servant for? You guys, like, this is such a hard question because I have like really like kind of moral and ethical dilemmas about hiring someone to do certain things, but I'm just not a good housekeeper. I'm just not. I wish I was. I so wish it, but I don't know. Like, it's just not how I want to spend my time. I'd so much rather spend my time making videos and talking to you. But anyway, so yeah, like, I think Shelly said laundry in her video, which I completely sympathize with because it never ends. Laundry and dishes, like, they just don't ever go away. Like last night, we had no spoons. We have so many spoons, but there was not a clean spoon to be found in the house. But mainly like just, you know, cleaning the floors and dusting. And I mean, there's all kinds of chores that I should be doing on a regular basis, and I'm just not. And it's a kind of a constant struggle. Question 7, the themes of Margaret Atwood writes about have stayed consistent in her writing for over 6 decades. She writes about the role of men and women in society, relationships, religion, marriage, and identity, to name a few. If Atwood were to write a novel about you, what are some themes she would need to include? And for this, I would say definitely marriage. I would say identity, you know, I have a lot of self-confidence issues, and so that has cropped up throughout my life. And then also this year it's going to be, I believe, the 14th anniversary of being diagnosed with epilepsy. So I think she would have to address some kind of issues of disability if she were writing a book about me, which I can't even imagine. Let's see. Margaret Atwood has created words for her novels. She's talked about how this makes it difficult for translators of her work, it's a really interesting idea. Do you have a favorite word, and why is it your favorite? My favorite word is transformation, and I love it because it's filled with hope and possibility, and yeah, it's just an ongoing, never-ending sort of process of personal growth. Question 9, Margaret Atwood was born in Canada and lives in Canada now, but she has also lived in other countries like the US, England, France, Germany, and Scotland. What countries have you lived in, and or what is another country you would like to live in? So I have, and I've said this before on my channel, I spent a summer living in France, and I've been able to travel to places that never in my wildest dreams growing up in a little tiny rural town did I think that I would get to see. So I've been very fortunate in that aspect. Jason and I, my husband and I, we are very connected to the place we live, to the landscape, yeah, and our families as well. I can't imagine telling our families that we would be moving like across an ocean or something like that. they would not respond well to that. But I think if for whatever reason Jason and I did have to live in another country, we'd probably want to live in England. I think that's the only place I can think. Okay, let's see. Question 10. Margaret Atwood is an advocate for caring for the earth. What is something you do to help take care of our planet? Jason and I, with the exception of like the first 6 months of our marriage, we only have one car. So everything gets done with that car. And unfortunately, we are going to have to get another car before long. But I'm hoping that the older car will find a new home. So it still works very well. But yeah, we've lived with one vehicle. We know how to do that, and it's totally possible. There's not a lot of public transportation where we live. So question 11, Margaret Atwood is passionate about animal rights, and some of her writing has included animals and reflections on animals. What is a topic that you are passionate about? I've worked for several nonprofits in my life, and I'm still, even though I don't work at those places, I am definitely still passionate about the topics. I'm passionate about hospice and end-of-life care. I'm passionate about suicide prevention and substance abuse prevention. I'm passionate about, and Shelley had a great answer. She talked about equal access to information, which is primarily, I think, in most places through a library. And so I think that libraries are incredibly important to being a great equalizer. I'm passionate about housing issues, so there's plenty of things going around there. Let's see, question 12. Margaret Atwood is supportive of new authors in a variety of ways. Who is a newer author and or what debut novel do you wish more people knew about? Okay, so if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I don't really talk about new releases. If I've read a debut novel, it's an older debut novel. Like at the end of 2021, I read Mark Sprague's debut novel, The Fruit of Stone. But I just have so many other books. And again, they may be debut novels or debut nonfiction work, but probably that person has written something else since then. So I don't really have a good answer to that. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about not only that question, but all the other questions in this. So tell me what you think down below in the comments section. If you're new to my channel and you're nervous about leaving a comment, or you think it's going to be a bother, which it totally is not, feel free to leave an emoji or like this video, and so I know that you're here. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great day. BookTube, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.